Whatever.
All right. Well, welcome back to Life or Whatever, to our longtime viewers.
To our longtime viewers.
We appreciate you. And if you're just joining, please like and subscribe because we need you and we want to hear your thoughts.
Help.
Help us. Yeah.
Help us
be
please.
heard.
Don't make me
Our
beg.
great opinions. I'll
Please.
beg.
Even if you don't like us, just fucking come on, man. Like if you were in our position, put yourself in my shoes, okay? I have a full-time job. Mark has a full-time job. We work our asses off. We really, this is our retirement seed right here. This is our one little glimmering hope of a better life. And if you and a million of your friends just hit the like and subscribe button, it would help us see our, like, we don't know what's going to happen to us. What happened? I don't have insurance. What happens if something happens to me? What happens to my family, the people I care about? You got to help me.
Jeez, like, man, guys, help Nick get insurance.
Help me help my family. Did you ever have those vacuum salesmen that came to your house to try to sell you the vacuum when you were a kid? The door knockers?
Literally vacuums? No, but
yeah, we had a vacuum dudes.
That's funny.
The reason I brought it up was because they came to our house and my mom's super nice. So she just she ended up letting them in, and they did their whole spiel with the vacuum. You know, weren't getting any traction because we already know it's an expensive vacuum. And then they gave our vacuum a funeral. So they pulled out a black cloth, laid our vacuum down on the middle of the floor and covered it, and then got down on their knees and like read our funeral rites to our vacuum because it was such a piece of shit. And my mom got so mad. I could just see that was the point where she was like, all right, I'm fucking done with this. Like, how did you get in my fucking house? And then after he knew that was the wrong route and he got real desperate and he pulled out his wallet and started showing my mom pictures of his kids. And he's like, see that little girl right there?
That's why you're bringing it up.
She really wants to go to Disneyland. And you can make that dream come true. And I was like, out!
Oh my gosh.
Out!
Yeah, seriously.
Get your fucking
hilarious.
pathetic ass out of my house. Take your fucking take your amazing vacuum with you.
I used to be the person that probably would have invited them in just because I felt awkward. Now, like, I have a Ring camera and this quantum fiber guy comes and I could see, even when I was gone, I could see on my phone, he was coming to the house constantly. Like, and Jess wasn't home and he's getting the dogs going. And when I was home, he rang again. This is like the 5th time in a day.
Quit getting my dogs going, man.
Yeah. And all I did, I didn't even answer the door. I talked to him through the Ring camera. I said, I'm not interested. Stop ringing my doorbell. Get off my property. I was so annoyed. Like, yeah, he never came back.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they get attitudes. I mean, I feel bad because it does take a lot to put yourself out there in that way. It's his job, but you picked the job. You can't be mad when people don't like being harassed because you're harassing
You also
people.
just like, yeah, it's like, every time I talk about it, I remember I need to go get a no solicitation sticker to put out there because it's like, I want to feel like, it's like when you go to Fred Meyer and you walk in and there's an AT&T person there right there.
Costco. They have Costco. They got him right in front of the door.
Costco, same thing. Okay.
I always put my headphones in and walk by.
No, I already have AT&T. I already have Verizon. I already have this. That's what I tell them all the time. But people that come to your door, they can probably just tell. They're like, yeah, you don't have our quantum fiber.
Like looking in through your doorway. I don't see any fiber cable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, they just know. Okay, they know you're not with them anyway.
Right. They check their little database.
Them.
Like, you fucking lying to me. Are you lying to me right now?
Yeah. And the other day, I think it was it might have been the same company, but it was two younger, well, like our age, like women that came to the door. I wasn't even thinking, like, they knocked on the door and I was like, I go to open. Yeah, exactly. I go open the door.
Switch up the tactics.
And I'm like trying to keep the dogs from freaking out, and Jasmine sticks her big old head out and I walk out. She goes, "Oh my Lord, that's a big dog."
Are you Was she black?
Yeah. Yeah, she was black. And what gave it away?
Your fucking racist impression.
No, it was spot on.
Big Mama.
She would have been proud.
Oh my lord, my lord, my
Dude,
lord.
it was like spot on. It was so funny though.
You're proud of your impression. It was good.
Yeah. But also, I was just like, why are black people scared of dogs? I don't know.
Oh, she was scared.
It seemed like it when she saw her, but then when she talked about her, it was no big deal. But anyway, the same idea. I just told them, I'm like, I'm super happy with my service, and I'm not interested right now. And at least they didn't keep pushing, which I appreciate. I hate when people keep going and going and going and going. Like, well, actually, if you sign up today, we're gonna. Yeah, exactly. Because you're like, at that point, I'm just gonna get more pissed off at you.
The worst is at the car dealership when they send you to the last guy, the last line of defense who has to try to pitch all the shit. And I'm like,
oh, that.
Bro, I know where this is going, and I just want to circumvent the whole fucking thing and just say no, 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 and no. And he's like, how you been, man? We're just talking. We're just talking. And then he switches the paper around. He's like
trying to do some power moves.
Yeah, he's like, hey, look, how you been? You drive in from Wasilla? I live out in Wasilla. It's a long drive, huh? Let me tell you a story. Let me be friends with. I'm like, I don't want to. I know where you're doing. And then he gets to
thing.
He's
like, just take my nice truck home.
The dude's trick was like, he's like, look, you don't need this one and you don't need this one. All right, I'm gonna be real with you. You don't need either of those. That's a waste of your money. But he's like, you'd be a fool not to get this one. He's like, I make all my family get this one. Like, you literally have to get it. It would be stupid not to. And I'm like, I'm not going to though. And he's like, look, I never do this. I'll sweeten it. I'll put an extra 30%. You'd have to be dumb not to do it. Like, stop fucking calling me dumb. I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah.
He's like, and then he got mad. He got mad, and he's like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I would not let my family walk out of here without getting that.
Dude.
But hey, do whatever you want. And I was like,
literally the same tactic when we bought our camper. The guy wanted us to get this warranty thing, saying the same thing. I would never let my family not get this. Yeah, I would call them dumb for it. Like, and then even afterwards,
it personal.
Yeah, and they're calling and calling and calling afterwards, and I'm like, we don't want it. That's so crazy. I can't believe you'd pass this up. And yeah, it's like, yeah, you're really selling me
and
now.
And they actually get
now
mad.
I know it's a tactic. Yeah, and he got
and
mad.
I said no, and I was like, like after he finished, I'm like, still no. And he's like, he went like this. He was like, and like looked away. He like looked out the window and he's like, yeah, hey, whatever. You do what you want to do. And I was like, are you gonna be a bitch now? Like, can we go back to the friendly guy? Like again, like you were being real nice before. And he did eventually he became nice again, but it took him like a solid couple minutes to like recompose himself because he was seriously pissed. I was like, bro, like this is so this is like borderline like abusive shit. Like, you're forcing me to listen to you. When I say no, you make it incredibly uncomfortable in here. And I don't think it was intentional that he was making it uncomfortable. It's that he was pissed. Like, but I told you no.
Yeah.
I told you no way well in advance.
Your wife this way?
Yeah, you're being a pouty bitch. But whatever. Anyways. How do we even get on that?
I don't know. It was great because I was going to start the podcast with a request from our friend who wanted us to talk more about addiction.
We're addicted to fucking going off the rails is what we're addicted to.
And those guys are addicted to trying to sell their shit.
Yeah, addiction doesn't have to be a chemical addiction, I don't think. I think chemical addictions are caused by psychological addictions to behavioral patterns in a lot of cases. I think that makes you more susceptible to chemical addictions. But I just want to say, I think ChatGPT is going to ream us so hard when I send it to transcript for the beginning. They're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, nobody's going to keep. You would have lost, like, our drop off of anybody who might have just been tuning in was like,
okay, let's have a disclaimer at the beginning. Be like, we were going to start with this and we went on a small tangent, but we get there.
Fuck it. This show has tangents, okay? That's what it's all is.
Yeah.
It's not about the destination, it's about the trip. It's about the adventure and how you get there. The journey.
That's
and we go off in all kinds of back trails, and some of them lead nowhere, but we'll find our way there eventually.
And it
Like,
all
be
leads
patient,
somewhere.
okay? Give us a chance to get to the point about addiction.
This is how you start the actually, this reminds me when I watch a
I
lot
just
I'm going on a tangent.
I just burned another, like, minute doing that stupid speech that meant nothing.
We need, hooks for the beginning of our segments that
We need
are, like,
shock
the like, really
collars.
good parts, and they're like, "Oh, that's really good. I can't wait to get to that part of the show, so let me just watch the whole thing."
Fuck that. No, we
Anyway,
do need to do that, yeah.
our buddy, who has a family member who suffers from addiction,
Don't we all?
and I think we do, yeah. I think we all know somebody, and maybe some of us are somebody or have been somebody.
Maybe some of us are that person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's okay. You just need to find the help. But
Just need to figure
it
it the
is
fuck out.
it's a real thing, and I think it's like you said, addiction comes
Addiction
in
is real.
so many different forms too. When
Addiction is
you
heavy,
yeah, but
painful.
can it be a good thing? Is anything that you're addicted to ever a good thing? I would
Is
argue
anything good?
no. Okay, shut up. I would argue if you're addicted to anything, it's probably not a good thing because it's taking time away from something else you could be doing.
If you're addicted, you don't have control, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
that would
that's
be,
a great way to say it.
yeah, you're out of control. You're
And
letting
then like
something lead you.
and how it affects you, not just you, but your family as well and your friends.
Poor
Especially
friends.
like if you know somebody prior to an addiction and then you see them like afterwards and how they change,
Dude, I
how they
saw
treat you.
meth especially, that's a huge, like, change before and after. I saw one of our classmates that used to be a pretty girl, and I was walking around, and, there was this car parked in this parking lot, this church parking lot, and there was shit strewn out next to the car, and I walked around the side, and this Smeagol-looking creature sat up in the front seat and just like gaunt, skinny cheeks, stringy hair, and like, oh my god, oh it's Nick. Oh hey, what the fuck, man? It's been a long time since I fucking seen you, man. How you doing? Huh? Like just wired. I was like, it took me a minute to be like figure out who it was. I kind of was like, ooh, like backpedal. I was like, holy shit, that's this person. Like, what the fuck, dude?
That's
Scared the shit out of me. Like, I think they're doing better now, but I was like, oh my
that's
god,
good.
eh, meth
That's
is
sad. I
yeah.
can think of a couple people that we know that could have been, unfortunately.
I've had encounters with a couple people that we went to school with that are on meth and just strung out, and I don't know. It's
You know what's
nasty.
crazy? I've never even seen meth.
That's good. Good for you, man. I've never seen meth
I
either.
I've never seen meth. I've never seen cocaine. I've never seen heroin.
That's an interesting observation. Yeah, I haven't either. We're pretty clean.
It feels interesting to me anyway, like
Yeah,
the
it's a
fact
good
that it's such a big issue and I've never seen it in my entire life, except for on
yeah.
TV.
Fake drugs on TV
I know how to
usually.
take
Or
it thanks to TV.
if you needed to take heroin, you could figure it out. Just let
I
all
know
the
that
air out of
the
the
blue meth is the best meth.
yeah, right. I don't know. Maybe I've seen it and just I don't think so though. I've seen mushrooms.
Yeah,
I've never
just
taken
I've seen
mushrooms.
mushrooms.
We're pretty
Never done that either.
clean. We're
Yeah,
super clean.
I got a buddy
Yeah.
that does mushrooms.
Really?
Mushrooms are like
Not addictive?
safer on the smarter. Yeah, it's like one of the smarter things. But I just don't. I don't want to dabble in that stuff. I think
Yeah.
alcohol is bad enough. I already dabble in that.
I think alcohol's terrible.
I think it might be. Well, I mean, it's probably one of the worst addictions, or one of the biggest addictions in our nation. But I I've said it on here before. Is like I at one point I said I was an alcoholic, and I think about or not. That's such a
You're
like harsh
like
term
such
for
a
me.
moderate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because what it was I was just drinking every night to like chill. Like I didn't want to think about my problems, or
That's
uh
how it gets
I
you
want.
though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
Exactly. Right.
alcohol
And because you
addiction,
get a
Yeah,
you get
it's like
addicted to that feeling too, and the fact that it's like, this is what I think about because when I was like, not once did I ever when I stopped drinking every night, did I have like the urge that I had to have some. Like I didn't have withdrawals. In in a I would say stereotypical sense, I'd say the biggest side effects I had was that it was hard for me to fall asleep. It was hard for me to
uh,
stay asleep because it basically does that for you. And so if your body's not used to maybe creating that melatonin or whatever else chemicals, because there's chemical addiction. Like that was my biggest issue.
yeah, you were a functional alcoholic, and there's tons of them, and that's why I think alcohol is so insidious. Because if you had a friend who was occasionally doing heroin but could hold down a job or whatever, you'd still be like, bro, you shouldn't do that heroin
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah, for sure.
right? But with alcohol, it's like, no, I'm having. There's a million ways you can justify it. Like I'm just having fun. I'm letting loose. I've had a tough day. Blah blah blah. Like no one really gets on people about over drinking and until it becomes like a real
It's because
problem.
it's legal.
It's legal and yeah, so it's profitable
Yep.
and it's social and there. I mean, like there are. Look, there can be benefit. You can use alcohol to your benefit, like as a social lubricant. But at the
Hmm.
same time, you can use cocaine to your benefit too. You could
Yeah,
get
yeah,
tons
yeah.
of shit accomplished if you're on coke. You could stay up all night and do all kinds of work. Like tons of people use it to be productive. But that one's not the same if you just kind of,
You're
no
not
one's cool
productive
with
on
that.
alcohol though.
Well,
You're
you
maybe
could be,
like you said, socially productive. But
yeah,
well,
socially,
you
you could
are
go
because
mingle.
you need it to be able to do anything. Some people, right? When you get addicted, like you need it to be able to actually function. So that makes you, you
Yeah,
know,
I guess that's
yeah.
kind of the question, right? Is it's like, and that's the whole thing with alcoholics. I feel like is that you're saying you need it, and like I don't think you do need it. It's a mental thing, but it's
You
all
might
mental.
after you get addicted, you need it to function, but you have to then go ahead and fight. You have to go fight that addiction and get back to normal. Because when
Right,
that shit starts altering your body and altering your behavior in that sort of sense where you need it, like our bodies don't need it, but you made it dependent on it. So now it's your fault and then you need to go back and fix it.
right. But I think you can get like that with like caffeine too. Like
Yeah, I bet most people
I
are
get,
addicted to caffeine.
dude, I get hardcore withdrawals if I start trying to quit drinking caffeine and
Really?
I need it, right? I feel
Yeah.
like when I wake up I need that shit. And
I
it's
know
not
Jess gets headaches. That's about it if she doesn't have it.
absolutely. If you don't drink, you get a headache. If you can fight through the migraine headaches, you'll usually be like I've quit caffeine quite a few times. But so this whole idea of addiction is it's like I think there's gradations of addiction because like I've been addicted to caffeine a lot, but I can quit and this is what all alcoholics
I can
say. I
quit
can
whenever
quit
I want.
anytime I want. So it's like what even is addiction? It's that you are making a choice at all stages of addiction. It's a fucking choice. And
You
that's
know, it's
what makes people feel like they are in control when they're not. Cause you're like, no, I just like the way alcohol makes me feel. I feel better when I'm drinking. I feel like, I could go through my day without it, but I enjoy how I feel when I have a couple drinks. It makes it easier for me to do it. And why would I not do that if it makes me feel better, right? There's that justification.
absolutely.
But then you're not looking at the you're not looking at it in the bigger way where it's like what is wrong with you that you feel like you have to have this substance in your life to be able to get through normal functional shit that we all have to deal with. And that was my point about I think addiction is mostly psychological.
And not like a
Well, it
chemical addiction
becomes
to.
chemical, but it
Well,
all
okay, yeah, but then you
yes.
still make that conscious choice to do better or stop or whatever.
Yeah, because I don't think no matter how bad the addiction is, you always have you could always like, yeah, it sucks to go through withdrawals. It's not fun, but I mean, you've been sick before, right? Like we've all been sick before. If you really wanted to get off of whatever you were on and live your life without it, you could do it. And everybody could do it. It's the fact of the matter that they can't see a future where they can't see any future where they don't where they're enjoying themselves without it. You know what I mean?
Sure. Sure.
Like that's what I think it comes down to is you look at your life and you're like, yeah, I mean I could like they all could quit. I My aunt for example was like a hardcore addict and she quit for like extended periods, but it just became this thing where it's like when they're sober, they if they don't have anything to fill the void, they don't really know what to do with themselves. They're just kind of like, yeah, I quit. Okay. Life fucking sucks. Like, what's the point of this? I'd rather go back to have a
Yeah, that's right.
drink or
We did talk
something.
about that.
Yeah, like it makes
I,
sense.
and I'm still an advocate that, like you said, as a social lubricant or having a night out, like it's fun or whatever, but and you might pay the consequences for it, but doing it day in and day out. Here's what's actually interesting. When you do it day in and day out and the next day you have no consequences, as in like you're not hungover anymore, you're not sick, even though like that's a problem. When that stuff stops poisoning you to where you're sick the next day after having a night out, that's a problem.
Well, yeah, it definitely could mean that you've built up a pretty good
Tolerance.
tolerance,
You shouldn't
but
have a tolerance right that to that stuff.
a lot of people who are hardcore alcoholics end up um getting really bad withdrawals in shorter periods of time where they aren't haven't
Mhm.
had it. You know what I mean?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, like
So
you get the
so
shakes
so
and
let's
shit.
define that. That's like a hardcore addict, right? So would you
Yeah.
call a functioning alcoholic might be somebody that they wake up, they go to work, they come home, maybe they do run some errands, they come home and they're like, I need to get drunk before bed, basically just drink until I go to sleep and then wake up and do it all over again.
Yeah, it's I think a functional alcoholic is anybody who can hold down a job and do their responsibilities, but also they drink, throughout the day or whatever. Like you wouldn't know they're
You think they drink
drinking.
throughout the day?
Not all of them. I don't think you have to. I think you
Yeah.
can be addicted. Anytime if you feel that you can't enjoy yourself without drinking, then I think that you're an alcoholic.
I
Like
think I
if
would
you
say that's
think,
probably
yeah.
what was at some point, if you will. I still struggle with kind of calling myself that because it's not like once I stopped, I had to do like it wasn't like I was like having the withdrawals or something.
Well, I
But
think
I just
you addressed the core issue that was causing you to want to drink, and that's what most addicts never do. And so I think that's kind of what our friend who asked us to talk about this, that's kind of what we should focus on as far as um like what alcoholism and addiction really is it's like it's an unaddressed like void that you're not fixing the root problem, and if you never fix the root problem you'll never get out from underneath the addiction.
and what happens when your family calls you out on it and you still don't think it's an issue? That's isn't that crazy?
You're Yeah, it's so that's the other thing is that the addiction, that's what addiction does too, is it helps you build an insulation, it insulates you from the addressing the problem. Because every time you drink or do the drug instead of addressing the problem, you're retreating from facing the real issue. You're becoming more and more of a coward in a sense. And so it becomes harder and harder to admit the truth to yourself the more you use that as a crutch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So every time you're like opting to drink, like if you get upset or you're having a hard time and you say, okay, the solution is drink. Like every time you do that, you're
I'm
reinforcing,
stressed. Yeah.
yeah, you're reinforcing that as the solution. And then it becomes harder and harder for you to see the alternative, which is like face reality. And I'm sure it
Yeah,
increases your actual stress. So like, because you do
stress on
build
your
that.
body for sure.
Well, you build that chemical addiction, and what that
Yes,
chemical
yeah.
addiction does is it tricks you into thinking like you narrowly avoided something really bad, and the substance was the thing that saved you from it. It becomes your buddy in that way, to where next time you encounter even less stress, your body remembers, oh, this drug or alcohol or whatever that I used to deal with it before, like that really helped me out. And then it
Mhm.
actually increases the stress you're feeling, so that you're like,
Well, you
fuck, I
still have to
really
address
can't
the
handle
problem,
this.
but the point
Huh?
is, I think, is that you still have to address the problem when okay, so say something really bad happens, you get stressed out and you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I just want to go numb for the night. That's kind of more the idea, right? And then the next day, you still have to address that problem.
Or you keep
Uh,
putting it off and putting it off and putting it off.
but I don't think alcohol does that.
Yes, it
I
does.
I think that well, I think that would be more of the psychological that has nothing to do with alcohol. That's you just
It's I think
putting
it's
it
all the
well, okay, so
same.
I disagree. Well, I disagree. Well, okay, maybe I don't disagree because we talked about functioning alcoholics. I think functioning alcoholics don't need to do that throughout the day to solve their problems. It's more
Well,
so
it's not.
just
Okay, so you're solving a problem, like an immediate problem with alcohol, right? You're solving an immediate problem of like this
or
happened,
immediate
or
stress reaction is what you're doing, not the
yeah, and
problem.
you're like, fuck, I got this and I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to have a drink. And so you're like,
Mhm.
that's your solution in the immediacy. So yeah, maybe that you do have to address, but the fact that you picked the fact that you immediately went to the alcohol, that's the problem that you're not addressing.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair. And I and it that we're talking about how it affects us, right? Let's talk about how it affects our family and our friends.
Yeah, so was that
Because
clear? Was I clear about like what I was trying to say there? Like the fact that you have become reliant on a substance is in itself that is the problem. The problem isn't what you're dealing with. The problem is that you feel like you can't handle it, and
or
you
you
need
not even
to
that you can't, is that you don't want to do it right now.
yeah, you won't,
Yeah.
and so you're choosing to basically tap out all the time. And so when you tap out all the time, that's the real problem that you're not addressing. You have to build up your ability and your what do you call it? Uh, what'd you call that? Your tolerance for stress, because
Mm-hmm.
you erode your tolerance for adversity when you use substances. You know what I mean?
That yeah, yeah. And let me before we move on to what I was
Yeah.
talking about, give another example is that I've known a couple people in my life that they say I have too much anxiety, so I need
That's
to smoke weed,
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. That's
right?
addiction in
Yeah,
a nutshell
yeah,
is
yeah.
I can't
And even
handle
weed's not
X,
even that
Y.
bad. But when you say I can't handle stress or I have too much anxiety in my life for
Like
me to do
I literally have a problem.
yeah. And so what I hear is I've never tried to deal with anxiety or stress in my life
Boom.
because I've been is that
That's it.
a better example?
I
Okay.
think that's
Yeah.
it to a T.
Yeah.
Or you genuinely do have a really hard time. It doesn't mean you've never tried. Like I think that's an
That's a good
unfair
point. Yeah.
assessment, because you're basically like judging them. And I think for some people they really do experience stress in a more intense way than most of us can even imagine. Those people who get addicted to that, for whatever reason, they're more triggered by the stress, and for them it does become like a crisis or a panic type situation in a lot of
Yes.
cases.
I think
And
another
so
great
they
point.
probably, a lot of them have tried to deal with it. They just don't have the tools. And then that comes from probably low self-esteem, not having enough confidence or faith in themselves, whatever. There's like a multitude of reasons, but that's what you got to figure out is like, why don't you feel like you can handle this? Like, what's going on? Like, how, like, we gotta work backwards and start trying to like recondition you to feeling like you have some wins and victories under your belt so that next time you encounter a problem, your immediate reaction isn't like, I gotta fucking drink. I gotta find a drink, you know?
You know what's funny too is now that I don't uh now that I don't drink like I used to, is how I'm gonna put it. If I am put in a stressful situation, now I want and maybe I did then, I don't know, but I want to handle it right away. I've always wanted to like deal with a stressful situation right away because I don't like having it sit in my brain. But
Uh-huh.
afterwards, maybe I would reward myself for having that stressful thing and I dealt with it and now it's time to relax.
Yeah, I don't think you were ever you're not at risk necessarily of becoming like a full-blown, like, helpless alcoholic. You were just
Oh, I've never
enjoying the
felt that way. Yeah.
no, you
Yeah.
were just enjoying the experience too
But
much,
it's
but
still too much. It's too much for your
well,
body.
but
So it's like there's no
it can
justification
happen.
for it. Yeah.
It can happen, and even in, like, you know, not even like with other substances, it becomes even more of a slippery slope because, like, with alcohol, for a lot of people, they can manage it like you, but if you start um, medicating with alcohol or other substances like that, then it can increase the amount of issues you have. Like harder drugs are more, heroin or whatever. Like if you take it like say you took it like for the reasons that you drank or whatever. You were like, I'm having a hard time. I just need a little out. Like I'm like actually able to accomplish what I need to accomplish, but I'm fucking up to my eyeballs in stress. I just want to chill. And then you do like a dose of heroin or something. It's like when you're done with that, your problems are going to be compounded. And if you keep using it, it's like, can you climb your way up faster than it's pulling you down? You know what I
Okay. Well,
mean?
let's talk about how they're compounded.
Yeah,
What
well,
are some,
that would be how it's compounded. So it'd be like if you are medicating with like if you're drinking all the time, you might not show up to work on time. Like there's little
Mhm.
subtle ways in which it could, or you might have an argument with somebody that's close to you. You might torch relationships. You might drink and
that
drive. Like
that's
all of
okay.
those.
So that's great examples, but part of what I was trying to get to was like it compounds not just you and how the situations in your life, but it does compound your family and they see you and they see how you're different and they see the issues that you are now having to face. Like you said, if you get a DUI, stuff like that. Like not just that, I think about this all the time too, is like, do you know how much money you probably spent on that shit?
Yeah.
The financial ruin that you're putting yourself in or your family in from constantly buying heroin, cocaine, meth, even alcohol, marijuana, even marijuana is expensive.
It ruins families, and then your wife leaves you, and then what? Then you're literally alone, and then why would you quit drinking at that point? You've already
Yeah, it's
lost,
just
like
there's no positive path that
I
your
mean, I
self,
brought up
your body,
yeah,
your family, like there's no positive path that you're gonna get from this.
I brought up is self-medication, and I brought up medication, and I think that's a good thing to talk about because that's what a lot of the medication that they give us listen to the list of side effects that all of them
Mhm.
have. They're all so bad, right? But it addresses this one problem. And it's like, so you have to decide whether the one thing that it's helping you with is worth all the shit that's going to be happening as a negative consequence of it. And so that's
Yeah.
the choice with every medication you use, including illegal
Mhm.
substances, because you can get pharmaceuticals that are just as bad as all of that shit. So,
Yeah, but also you forget about the side effects more so like I have heartburn meds, right? And so one of the side effects down the road is dementia.
You know, fucking dementia because you didn't want heartburn.
Because yeah, but I have GERD, right? So I have heartburn so bad. I tried to stop doing it, and I tried to stop that medication. My body was so addicted to it that
Yeah.
freaking lettuce would give me heartburn. But I,
Yeah,
yeah,
addiction is just it's the worst when it just locks right into a void in your whatever health or psychological health, and it just clicks in and it just fills that spot like perfectly. Those are the things where people get super hooked on shit, you
agreed.
know.
Yeah,
It just locks right into that empty spot and you're like, "Oh, that's what I needed." And then, then you're
yeah,
done.
fixed,
Yeah. Yep. And it
fixed with
just
no
slowly
possible negative
l-
side effects.
like erodes everything around it. Yeah, eats into everything.
I want a medication. Like one time, I want to hear a medication on the TV that it's like a positive side effect may cause X-ray vision.
I'm so skeptical at this point in my life. I don't trust anything that they say is like purely good. I just
No, because
don't.
now Tylenol is bad.
Well, like knowing what I know about the world, and I guess like I don't know if you'd call it
Yeah, no,
karma
I
or
totally understand what you're saying.
balance or
Yeah,
whatever. Like there's no good thing that doesn't come with some bad
unpunished.
tied to
Some
it. And so if you give me something good, I'm like, where's the fallout? What's gonna happen?
where's the
This
fine
can't all
print?
just be good. It
Yeah,
doesn't fucking happen.
yeah, like the
You
COVID
know,
vaccine.
make it political. Why don't you?
That's not political. That's science.
Yeah, but that's what you just said was political right there. That was political too. It's
Why is
science.
that political?
Because you made a
No, it
judgment
shouldn't
on the
be.
COVID vaccine and then you're like, yeah, it's science, so I'm right.
That came out to be true, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it is true, but we're talking about addiction right now. Just have to
Well, a
make it
lot of people got
political.
addicted to getting their jabs.
They
That
didn't get
so they were
addicted to the
no,
chat.
no, I'm not saying that in that way. They mentally like that happens too. Like it's like a
Like
routine
Trump
or a
derangement syndrome.
wow, now way to make it political.
Well, because it says people say that's an addiction. I'm not, I don't,
No, I just think like they're like, oh my god, there's a new one. So okay, fear. Let's call can you be addicted to fear?
yeah, and I think people can be addicted to politics too.
Oh, for sure.
People get addicted. It's filling a void in their lives. It just locks right into a spot, you know?
No, absolutely. And that's what I had tried to ask earlier was are there and we already agreed no, there's nothing positive about being addicted to anything. Cuz I was thinking about like if you were addicted to going to the gym.
If you're addicted to going to the gym.
Yeah, what do you think? Is good or bad? Cuz we already decided literally
Well,
if you're
a
addicted
lot of
to
people are
anything, it's
addicted to
not a
going
good
to
thing.
a lot of people are addicted to going to the gym. Look, everything you got to look at everything like there is potentially it's a mixed bag of some good and some bad, and some things have more good than bad and some things have more
Mhm.
bad than good.
It's like some sort of addiction spectrum.
Yeah, it's a spectrum, and if you choose to go habitually to the gym to where you literally have to go or it like ruins your day, that's better than a lot of other things you could be
Agreed.
addicted to.
But
But it's
again,
not
it can
ideal.
affect your family. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's not ideal. There's still negative downsides to it because you're addicted.
It's like
But
when they people
of
back in the
yeah.
day to be like, if you're addicted to this, get addicted to Jesus. That's not a
Well,
good thing either.
they say, people try to make a case for like addiction and nicotine or things like that because they're like, yeah, you know what? It makes me happy and my happiness that I get from it is worth whatever possible health risks I face. And it's like,
I
hey,
think a lot of people don't
whatever.
understand maybe the difference between addiction and obsession,
Okay. What do you mean?
right? Like so I think it's okay to be obsessed with the gym. You're like, I want to always do this and feel good, but obsession, you're always, I think, willing to make an exception to not do. Like, oh, I'm obsessed with the gym, but I can't do it today. Addiction. Oh, I'm addicted to alcohol, but I can't do it today. No, you're gonna fucking do it if you're addicted. So I'd say obsession, you're not actually chemically. it's not like a chemical reaction to where addiction is, but they're like maybe close to the same,
Yeah,
just
I
a
guess
little
they're like
different.
relatives because like people that are obsessed with other people, that's like not okay either.
Yeah,
Obsession
I
leads
guess there's
people to do really weird shit.
more levels or types of levels of obsession, right? I
Yeah,
think it's
people
better
who
to be
are
obsessed. So, okay, here's maybe my
obsessions
spectrum.
coming from a psychological problem too. It's like some weakness that you
Mm,
have that's causing you
yeah,
to
you're
be
probably right.
fixated on
Well, why does that have to be weak, right? Like, I'm obsessed with reading. That's a different difference to
because
being
you're
like,
not
I'm
social. You're not balanced. If you're
do you
obsessed with
so
reading to
okay,
where you
are we
can't
calling
stop
them equal?
reading, what?
No, upset. That's what I'm saying. Then you're addicted. But well, no, I don't know because when people get obsessed with somebody, it can get really messed up.
Yeah, if you're
So are they
obsessed, it's all you
synonyms
can
for each
think
other?
about. Huh?
Are they synonyms for each other?
I would think. I don't know. Probably addiction is considered to be on the more chemical side of it. People would probably say addiction is it.
They are
Look,
distinct phenomena, though they frequently overlap.
addiction is used to justify something that I think is within your control. Because if you say I'm addicted, it takes the impetus off of you. It takes the ownership off of you. Like, bro, I'm addicted. There's nothing I can do about it. It's
It's a
literally
disease.
it's a disease that's out of my control. But if you're obsessed, it's like you kind of now you're a little crazy and you got to figure that
Here,
out.
I like this, very short. Obsession is rooted in fear, while addiction focuses on, well, I don't agree with that either, focuses on desire. Addiction's a compulsive biological and psychological reliance on a substance or behavior to achieve pleasure or escape.
Yeah,
Obsession
it's
is
like
an intense, intrusive, and persistent mental fixation rooted in fear, anxiety, or the need for relief. It sounds very similar. Uh,
yeah, I think they both are rooted in similar things.
Same, yeah.
I
I
think
thought maybe there was I could justify the differences, but I don't think I really can.
if you're obsessed or addicted with anything, good or bad, I think you got to, like there's tons of people who've accomplished amazing things in this world and they're obsessed. They become obsessed or addicted to an idea or a way of being and they can't stop. They have like this compulsion. Like a lot of them are like Howard Hughes and stuff, like OCD, like weird. They
Oh,
end up
sure.
going crazy because they're like obsessive. They're single track minded people and their mind just revolves around that one thing and they're not going to stop until they get it. And that's like a psychological issue and so no, it's not healthy. If you could find balance in your
So it's
life,
not as addictions
yeah.
based on substance.
Yeah, we like people who become obsessed with certain things when it benefits us, but they don't live like incredibly fun, balanced lives, you know?
Right. Like OCD, right?
Yeah, like even highly accomplished people who have all sorts of cool shit. It's like they're probably in their mind, they're like, it's probably a terrible mental state to be in, you know?
Yeah. So, okay, that's a good point too. Like if you think very high level or maybe not high level, whatever you want to say, it's like serial killers, it's like an obsession, right? But it's not an addiction.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And I also think I was going to say addiction seems to pair a lot of times more with helpless weakness. Because if we're so okay, maybe not all the time, but if you say obsessed people like Howard Hughes or someone like that who's obsessed with like airplanes, things of that nature, and they end up accomplishing like tons of stuff, you would consider that to be a pretty powerful, motivated, assertive type person. And then if you imagine someone who's addicted to alcohol and always opts for having a drink, you think of somebody who's more helpless victim type person, you know. You know what I mean?
I think so. I was just trying to think like if you I was trying to like if you what if you're both, right? So
You can definitely I
if
think you
you
could be both. Yeah.
I I think you can easily have both because I think if you have one, I think if you are obsessed over anything, you're more likely to get addicted to something opposed to addiction over obsession.
You'll use something addictive to help you chase your obsession.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Hitler using like amphetamines and shit to keep going and going with his military campaigns. It's like your single track mind thing that you want. Like I'm sure tons of people who are obsessed with accomplishing things do cocaine and drugs like
yeah.
that
That's a
because it
good
keeps
point.
them
And so,
going.
to on the contrast, like if you're addicted to something, that's not gonna aid you in it or help you. An obsession isn't going to help your addiction,
No.
right?
But your
That's where they could
obsession,
differ.
if you're obsessed with something like if you have a positive aspiration that becomes your obsession, your addiction might help you to get what you want. But if you don't have an obsession and you just become addicted, you can become addicted to things for many other reasons. A lot of times
Hmm.
it's not out of obsession, it's out of like, self pity or like weakness in a sense. And then you become
Yeah,
addicted and then you don't do anything or, you don't go anywhere.
that's
It turns you into the
that's what I think.
opposite.
That's a
Yeah.
good distinction right there too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know, like as far as like personal like experience with addictions, I mean, I've seen a lot of it and it's really sad because there's nothing you can do for a person that's addicted to something to help. You can't make someone quit. That's why watching those intervention shows is so frustrating because an intervention it rarely takes unless you have to catch the person at the very right moment where they're like open to that. But in
Well,
most
I
cases,
think an intervention is probably used better to be like, "Hey, we're actually aware of what's happening. Like you're not tricking us or hiding us," which I think is probably what a lot of addicts do is they think they're getting away with something without people knowing. So when you have an intervention, it's like now, hey, they know or you know that they know, and that is supposed to be an added step to getting better. So just think about the comedian John Mulaney. You know who that is?
yeah,
So he was highly addicted to like cocaine or something like that, and at the peak of his success, and he would basically hide it until he came home one day and all of his SNL buddies are there being like, it's an intervention. And that actually made him go get help. And as far as we know, he's better to this day.
yeah.
So I don't
I
think
think
intervention is a unsuccessful tool.
it's not. It just depends on how. It depends on the situation, I guess, because a lot of my experience with people who are, it doesn't do it on its own. Let's put it that way.
Oh, it's like step
Intervention,
one, right?
yeah, it has to be paired with like a network, like a support group and a willingness to like take the initiative to try. And then you have to be able to like support them in a way that, yeah, like I think there's a lot to it for sure. In my experience with addiction, though, if people are not open to changing, you're not going to get them to face reality. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
It
But
depends on
some
how much
people
in denial they are.
they might not even know that they're addicted in a sense of how it's affecting other people. And so that's where an intervention can also be helpful is like when, you're reading those letters of how it's affecting you and how I used to, or how it's affecting them. And then how you used to hearing how maybe you used to be and like
Man,
like if you don't really realize that you were changed so much by your addiction. I think so.
I
I still think intervention is not a waste of time.
it depends on the person because you're describing
You're probably right.
a very self-aware um, person who already has a decent level of self-esteem to be able to look at themselves in that way and be like, "Wow, I am being a dirtball," rather than like someone who's already at the stage of
Way lost
addiction
into
where they're
it, yeah.
like Yeah, they're like at rock bottom. They already know they're a piece of shit, but they're like hiding it from themselves. Like they're never going to admit or face the truth. It's everybody else's fault but their own. They don't actually believe that, but that's what they have to believe. And so when you start piling shit on, like you're like, dude, you're fucking messing up
Yeah,
this
they could
person's life.
revolt.
You're messing up this person. They're going to be like, no, that's not right. Like, they're going to be like, this is, you guys are ruining my shit. You're making my life harder. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, the problem with addiction is that it lets people wiggle out of like accountability for the reason they're doing the substance is because they don't want to be responsible
I
for
still
their shit.
think I still think that regardless if that's the outcome, that it was still fruitful.
I mean,
Because
you
they're
don't really
just
have an
being defensive. It
alternative.
doesn't mean when they go lay down at night, if they are able to lay down and not just fucking toast it out of their mind, that they're not going to reflect on what they heard.
The only thing you can do is be there for someone and be the best intervention would be what you're saying, where it's people coming together and being like, we care about you. I hope you
Oh,
can
as
see
in
that we
what
love
other
you.
intervention were you thinking of?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, that's the best thing you can do is just be like, we care about you. And it doesn't mean it's going to work, but like just constantly letting the people who are addicted know that you care about them and like, whatever, whenever they're ready or whatever, like you want to see them do better and do not let them, you can't let them lie. You have to hold them accountable. Like,
I think that's an excellent point.
yeah, you have to be like, no, like I still love you, but no, no, not true. Like I still
Hmm.
care about you, but no, that's not right. And like force them to confront it. If they're not ready, they're not ready. You can't hold someone in a corner and be like, you need to admit that this is a problem because they're hiding from it.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
No, I totally agree, and I didn't think of it that way. Like I didn't think of it as a confrontation. I mean, it is a
It,
confrontation, but I didn't
it,
think of it as like trying to
but there,
be
but yeah,
aggressive towards it. But
but a lot of addicts deny responsibility, and so
no, agreed. Which is why what you said is great. Like you
but that's
still
what
like
makes it so
hold them
frustrating
accountable.
when you try to have an intervention with people and then they aren't receptive or they run or they make excuses and it's like fucking annoying because you're like, dude, like you're being a piece of shit. Like you got to admit it. And it's like, you know
I
what? They're
think
not ready. You got to meet them on their level because a lot of these people, because they've been running for so long emotionally in some way or another, they're very immature. And like they might be really smart and mature in a lot of ways, but when you find that one little part that stopped developing at whatever point, they're still like a little kid in that way. And that's the person inside of them who hides behind the substance, is the scared little kid inside of them that needs that substance to like protect them from the truth. So when you're confronting someone who's got a substance, that's who you're confronting. That's who you end up confronting, is a scared, belligerent little kid who can't understand or comprehend and is clinging to this thing and making excuse. Like you got to be aware that you're no longer talking to the person who you see on a day-to-day basis when they're on their best behaviors. You're seeing the worst little kid, little tyrant
hmm
kid,
well, that's certainly not the time to do an intervention.
Well, that's what makes it so tricky though, is because like
Is it
that's
because
who's going
they're
to come
almost
out.
always yeah,
That's who's
yeah,
going to come out to defend them. That's their
yeah.
last refuge from facing reality, is that little fucking kid. And it's like, all right, well, when you're ready to grow up, when you're ready to take the step to like developing that part of yourself that's like scared to like come out. But that's what makes it so hard. It's not something that you can do, especially someone who's addicted to a really hardcore drug like heroin or something like that. Like most of us don't have the patience or um, comfort. We're not going to be able to comfort them enough. You got to be someone who's really like good natured to be able to have the grace and gentleness
I think
to.
you also have to be super involved in their life. Like, how
You
many
have to
friends, like, too many
care a
people that we
lot.
know. Yeah, too many people that we know that I've heard, like, It's not that I don't care, it's that I'm certainly not somebody that you'd care to hear from if I'm like, "This is bad, and you shouldn't do it." So, it's gotta be from somebody deeply involved in your life, like our friend who sees it all the time with his family, and it's like, "What do we do about this?" And, you can only do what we're talking about. You could only see if they can realize the issue. You can only try to get them to accept help because you can't force help on anybody like that. And I think that's what really pisses me off too is when you see a lot of people that'll put a lot of time and resource and money into trying to help you, like putting you in a clinic, and then you're just like, I'm done. I'm just gonna leave. And then you keep trying it over and over and over again. And this person's just a lost hope, but you're pouring yourself into this freaking situation, and this is how it affects you. Like you're pouring yourself into their addiction to try and get them help, and then they're just. At what point do you say, "I can't do this anymore. Go do what you're gonna do"?
Yeah, that's the case with a lot of it. That's the case with a lot of addicts is that you end up getting dragged down with them because you care.
Mhm,
And you're helping someone you're helping when you help someone, you help someone on the pre you pre kind of assume the assumption that they're responsible in some way, that they're going to be grateful for your help, that they're going to
mm,
reciprocate and use it. And it's like, you don't really understand when you give assistance to an addict. Like I said, you're helping a scared, belligerent little child. And like you just said, the likelihood that they're going to completely disregard what you're saying or the emotional toll that it's taking on you, they're going to just grab onto you and pull you right down with them because they're not someone you can't throw yourself in with them is my point. And I guess
yeah,
so that's a great topic because that's what I've seen a lot is people who are not in the position to be helping someone like that. They don't know what to do. They're not strong enough and they end up accidentally throwing themselves in the water with someone who is sinking and that person grabs and starts pulling them down and you're not strong enough to maintain your position and you start going down with them. You know what I mean?
yeah, and this is so cliche. I literally heard a song just like what you had said recently, uh, and in the lyrics they go, "I think the strongest thing I can do is to save myself at this point." So once you get dragged down like that, it's just time to let it go.
Well, at least they can see you stand like, that's the thing, is that if they can see you standing on the beach, representing, like, what it is to be standing on solid ground, at least they have something to model themselves after if they decide to do so. But if you jump in with them and you start sinking, they no longer have anything to look at. You become out of control too. In a
Mhm.
way, and you're helpless and you're falling and you're getting emotional and so there's no model for them to look at anymore. So yeah, like obviously at that point the best move is to just stand on the beach and be like, when you're ready, I'm here, I will be like a pillar of strength for you from here, right?
It's so crazy what like literally the song is called "The Shore"
Really.
by Matt
Well,
LaClure. It's very good.
yeah, I mean
Well,
I've seen it a bajillion times, unfortunately. I've seen it so many times and it makes people so bitter when they try to help and it ends up emotionally like, messing them up. But I think that's why so many people have success when they find like truly find religion. Like that's something that can
you're
pull
seeing
people
it
out
more and more every day.
because that's a pillar of strength that you can model yourself after and it's never gonna fall, right? This is strongest thing you can do is like look at that and be like, model yourself after that image of strength and it can bring you like you can transfer some of that peace into yourself, and like if you can use that, if you're ready to like try to internalize that, I think that can pull you out better than any person can, because we're all fallible. So,
Love
yeah.
that. I think that was
Yeah.
really well said.
Why am I becoming such like a preacher the older I get? I'm like,
Dude,
find
it's
Jesus. Find Jesus.
dude, I'm telling you, it's I don't know, it's not just our age, it's the shit that we're seeing now, and people our age are coming through and finding Jesus more than ever. And it's because we've
Call it,
been
yeah.
presented with such evil and doubt that, like you said, let's go find that constant strength.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
doesn't
there.
have
It's
to.
it's 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 not it's not changing. It's like it's solid.
Yeah, you don't have to call it. You don't even have to call it Jesus if you don't want to. Like, I think what it is it's a sense of internal peace and strength that comes from knowing that there's something external from you. There's something external out there that gives you personal strength. Like, you have to be. It's so hard to describe. We get so scared and concerned about what other people think and fixated on different things. And if you just pause and like imagine, just put yourself inside of yourself and think about that there's a God out there or something. And do you kind of see what I'm saying? It's hard to
Yeah,
describe.
yeah.
It
No,
doesn't
no,
have
and
to
that's
be
the best feeling
Christianity.
is not being able to describe it, in my opinion. When it blows your mind, kind of in a sense. We talked about this when we were kids. You and I would stay up and we'd
Yeah.
talk about this shit all the time.
Yeah, it's so peaceful. It's so peaceful to like realize that all of your worldly problems that you're dealing with and stuff, if you really think about, you are you. Think about yourself. Put yourself in your own body and just feel what it feels like to be experiencing life, and like, what do you want, and all of those different things, and that there's a God out there, and he's like, he's like watching over you in some way. It provides you this sense of peace, because you can just go, I don't need to worry about any of that other stuff. Like, get in touch with your own feelings about everything, you
And I
know?
think trying to understand that exact feeling is basically like following a religion, right? It's like knowing that God's looking after you. And it's like, how can I understand that more? How can I even get more of that? And maybe it's literally just having that faith or reading the book or going to church. Uh, and what I think once you get hooked like that, uh, you get obsessed, addicted. No, um, you really start to feel more peace in your life, and
Yeah.
just knowing that everything's gonna be okay. And
Because
that's what
I
I love.
Yeah.
Like people always get pissed when you're like, "Well, God has a plan, and uh, there's a reason for everything." I hate when people hate that expression
It's
because
like,
there
all right, fuck
really
it.
is.
It's all fucking chaos and we're all gonna die, and actually it's
Yeah,
all
that's exactly
pointless.
what you're saying, and it's like
Ah, that's fun, right?
it's sad. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, well, how come? Well, how about you just have some optimism and understand that, yeah, maybe this situation is extremely sad, but there's optimism to be seen from most situations. And I think a lot of it is like when, say, if the worst situation for you is a family member that died, well, honestly, no, like if you believe and know in your heart and soul that they had gone to heaven, like, hallelujah, they're in literally a better place. And people hate those cliches.
It comes from damage. It comes from damage that predates like their when you're talking to someone like that, you're talking to someone who has unresolved like trauma in their life, and they're using that trauma to justify all of their anger, which all comes from fear, right? They're afraid of things happening again. They're afraid of like literally everything. You know what I mean? Like you said, if you're alone out there and we just have to wait until the next bad thing happens to us and it's all just bad all the time, like that's living in fear. And I think that's what gets people addicted to things is
Well,
like
it doesn't help the media does it too. Like right now, everybody's obsessed with the hantavirus, right? They're like, you got to wear your mask again.
Yeah.
And
Fear
people love it.
is
They're like, oh my
fear
God,
is
you're right. I
addiction.
have to be a good person and wear my freaking mask.
Yeah, fear feeds into addiction, absolutely. And so, yeah,
Well,
you know,
let
I don't
us
know.
know the best you can if you deal with addiction, if somebody in your family or friends deal with addiction, or some negative stories, some positive stories. Are really interested to hear how this has impacted your life, because we believe it's impacted probably all of our lives one way or another.
All right, folks, let's spin the wheel of whatever. Talk about next.
Spin the wheel of whatever.
Whatever we'll talk about next. It happens every time. I just put this up
Customer
there. Customer
service.
service. I literally just did that today. What is
Good
happening?
job. Good job. Let's get the magic touch.
Hoping it's not something dumb. Dumb like revenge. Ooh, that's not dumb.
Customer service and revenge, huh?
Well, I got a great story that I was
Yeah,
telling
you
you
already
about.
told me today.
I did. I
Go
told you.
ahead. Share it.
All right,
Share it
let's
with our
start.
audience.
All right. Well, when my wife and I bought our house, our realtor, who is a good friend, as one of the many gifts she got us was a year subscription to American Home Shield. And we're like, dude, that's sweet because wait, what? What are you laughing at?
Because you said the name so that you can proceed to bash them.
It's just, well, maybe it's a good story. I'll wait till the results. Anyway, so what American Home Shield does is, especially for us, when we bought a house, we get these appliances. If the appliance breaks down, especially within our year subscription, they will send somebody out to fix it for a small service fee, or they will replace it. So, um, let's see, like a couple weeks ago, we were like laying in bed, and our refrigerator has this little dashboard where you could change the ice and the water and the temperature. Well, all we hear it do is go haywire and go ding, 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 changing all the settings like a freaking maniac. And it's like while we're in bed, it's sleeping, and it's like, what the fuck is that? So I go out, I'm looking, I'm like, what the hell's going on? I find a way to lock it so it can't do any of that stuff. And we're like, okay, we'll call American Home Shield. So we start a ticket. They charge us $137, including tax, and said, okay, we'll send out a technician. Technician texts my wife and says, send me a picture of the make, model, serial number, blah, blah, blah. So that's what cost us $137 was that photo. And which this guy was great. He's a subcontractor. I have no problem with him. He comes back and says, well, they don't make the part for that refrigerator anymore. So what I'll have to do is fix it. And we're like, okay, well, we'll repair it is what they say. So they can repair it. And we get an email from American Home Shield, who had communicated with the subcontractor, and they go, this takes 2 to 3 weeks. So you're going to be 2 to 3 weeks without a refrigerator. And I go, what?
Are you
Like,
fucking dumb? How am
dude,
I
like,
supposed to live without a refrigerator?
yeah, third world problem for sure, but how do I
Not
go
third
2 to
world
3 weeks
problem.
without a fridge and without a freezer?
Yeah.
Thankfully, we already had a freezer, so we could take care of that stuff. Well, what do we do? And I read the contract and I emailed them and I said, the contract states that if you can't fix it within, like, if there's not a reasonable or feasible fix, then we will replace your refrigerator. So I'm quoting this. I had this great ChatGPT email that I sent them, and no response. So I call and I get American Home Shield's customer service, which is some foreign folks that you can't really understand, uh, which was great. And I asked them time and time again, what do I do without a fridge for 2 to 3 weeks? And what they do is they completely refuse to answer that question and say, well, what you
Because it's
can
a
do is
totally
take,
reasonable question.
yeah, exactly. What you can do is take our cash in lieu of repair, which will be 430 something dollars. Don't quote
Almost
me on
enough to
that.
buy a shitty refrigerator.
it's like literally oh, not even. It's like a fifth of a new refrigerator,
I think ours
and
was like 800 for our shop fridge or something like that.
well, I was trying to like replace and have like the water and the ice maker, the
Once
fridge,
you take the
like something
payout, you don't
comparable.
get anything, right?
Yeah,
Fuck that
so
shit.
so I said, let me talk to a supervisor, and they go, okay, but they're gonna say the same thing. So I sit on hold
Bitch, I
for
didn't
another
ask you
freaking
for
hour.
sass. Yeah.
Exactly. So I sit on hold for another hour to get to another person that doesn't speak English very well and who says the same thing, even though all I did was repeat the question over and over like an asshole. I was like, what do I do without a fridge for 2 to 3 weeks? What do I do without like just over and over again? I get nowhere, and I say, fine, I'll take the cash in lieu of repair because
You
I
sold
can't
out?
go 2 to 3. Well, kind of. So I said, okay. And then I hang up, and I was like, well, I'm going to blast them. So I blast them on social media. This is where my revenge came in. I blast them on social media. I blast them on the Better Business Bureau. I blast them on Google. And then I'm getting flooded with responses, including an email from their social media people who go, I'm so sorry this happened. Tell me more about the situation. So basically, I just repeated everything I said, which was like fun. And I said, and I continued to go, I just want a more reasonable and feasible solution to not having a fridge for 2 to 3 weeks. And then she replies with, okay, we'll give you $200 to get a mini fridge while your part is getting repaired. Okay. So then I go
That's
find a
better, right?
$260. Yeah, hell yeah. I go
Take a mini
and
fridge.
and my wife can find shit. Like
She's like, all right, now I'm
yeah,
working with something.
she's like, I look everywhere. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this. She sends me something on a site I already looked at. I'm like, well, how come I didn't
Where'd you
fucking
find
see
that
this?
shit? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like a really nice tall mini fridge that could be a freezer or a refrigerator. And it holds all of our stuff pretty perfectly to where you can't put much more in there. So it's still kind of inconvenient as like, and it's in our garage, right? So
You're trying to
the
stay
story
negative
is,
so you don't get all happy all of a sudden. Like, it's still not
well,
perfect. I'm not happy with this.
no, I am
But
happy because we get
I'll
to
take the
keep
fridge.
the mini
Yeah.
fridge, which is just going to be like
But I'm still
full of
inconvenienced.
waters and juices. Yeah, yeah. I'm still inconvenienced, of course, because what I really wanted was a new fridge
You have to
based on what our
maintain, you can't
contract says.
smile. You can't smile and let them know that you're like pleased with
Yeah.
it.
No, what I'm pleased with is
guess
that
that
I got
works.
something out of the customer, like
Yeah, you did
past
good,
the
man.
typical customer service. And I hate, and you and I have talked about this all the time. I hate being that person that
You hate
blasts
being
like
a
negative,
little Karen
and you
bitch
hate it too. Yeah,
to
you
try to
hate
get free
the
shit.
negative reviews. Yeah, but at this point, it wasn't like if I had paid for this subscription, which I didn't, because like I said, the realtor gave it to us as a gift, which I
Give
was
you
super
fucking
appreciative.
shit subscription. Yeah.
Yeah, well, all that stuff is just a
No,
scam. I think.
yeah. It's not a
Yeah.
scam, but they're not going to try to give you free shit. No insurance
Yeah,
will.
they're
That's
gonna.
why
They
that
want
dude.
what they want me to
That's
do is to
why.
give in, and I
That's why
probably did.
Luigi. That's why Luigi Mangione shot that dude because
That's
insurance
right.
fucking sucks, dude.
Well, tier 1 was like tell him all he could do is either wait or get a couple dollars. Tier 2 was probably what I got, which was, well, we'll pay for a mini fridge. And tier 3 was if I kept going, maybe they would have replaced the fridge.
You could have been more terrible and got more free
I think
shit.
I gave in at tier 2.
That's okay. You're a good dude. You didn't want my wife would have kept stomping her foot though. She'd be like, I know you got more. What you got?
Well, what I just appreciated was like, well, I appreciate it and I don't because it is some sort of tactic, right? It's like,
It's
let's
lame
see
that
if we
you
can
had
get
to
them to just
resort
give
to
in.
that, or they would have
Yeah.
screwed you. How many people have they fucked? Probably it
Oh,
weighs
yeah.
out in their favor.
Yeah. So what I could do is go and edit my reviews and be like, so the story is keep pursuing until you
Yeah.
get to tier 3.
Yeah, still a 1-star review. Still
Yeah.
slimy.
I appreciate Kim from the social media department that helped me get $200
Nah, she
towards my
was
$260.
she's probably
Yes,
look at
right,
this motherfucker.
idiot. Yeah.
I see what he's doing. You want free shit, don't you? Okay. Because she's black.
You
Okay. Oh, Lord,
my
look
black
at
voice
this.
was better.
Oh,
Lord, look at this
Lord, oh,
dog.
Lord. Look at
Oh
this
my
review.
God.
Oh, my God.
You've got to have a story with your shop.
I have a
You do
story
have a
not with my
story.
I have a story not
Oh,
with my
okay.
shop. I'm not going to
Maybe
tell
there's
that
two.
story. While you
okay.
were talking, I was finding
You were
the
ignoring me.
material. No, I was listening. No, you told a great story. Really well told, too.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Like a retard. Thank you so much. I thought it was really good. I thought you did a great job. You're pretty good at this. You should start a podcast. It's pretty good.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. No, I was trying to see if I could find this relic from my past because you know how I am about negative reviews. I'm not a fan. Right?
Correct.
But at one point in my life, I was a fan. And this is why it's easy for me to see all sides and to really get in the heads of these people because I used to be one of those people. And so I'm going to share with you one of my really negative reviews
that you created.
Yes, that I wrote. This is from 2015. And you can listen to this and it'll give you our viewers a glimpse into the asshole that I used to be. Let me preface this by saying this is for a print shop where I used to try to go to get flyers for my previous business printed out. And when I'd go in, I'd have to stand around for a long time because the people in there were just dawdling. They were just fucking, it was not good customer service. Okay. Should I have written these reviews as a business owner now? Probably not, because did they deserve to have their business reamed?
Well,
this
maybe. I don't know.
This was just for
we talked
this
about
was
this
just
before.
for my own fun, right?
It must be nasty.
But I haven't read it yet. Actually, I haven't read it since 2015. But I know I was pissed, and I went in twice, and I was like, "Why is no one fucking helping me?" And then I just went home, and I was like, "Let's have some fun." Okay, so I said, "I have nothing but compliments. This business's ability to mess up even the simplest of print jobs is something of an art. Someone who was seriously trying would, through sheer odds, eventually complete one job properly. The staff is very nice and has actually given me pleasant smiles and enjoyable conversation as I use their paper cutters to trim off the weird excess paper that didn't get printed on." So, like, I'm doing it myself.
You were doing their job.
And they're smiling at me. It's nice that they don't ever commit to print deadlines. It's really awesome that when I ask, "Can this be done today?" I get a maybe, or my personal favorite, within the next few days. It's always nice when I walk in and see 4 people doing absolutely nothing, and my prints that were supposed to be done were clearly forgotten about. It's fantastic when I remind them, and I watch the prints get done within 5 minutes, confirming my suspicion that they were never really busy to begin with. All in all, though, I'll have to leave a 2-star review because there is no public restroom. Otherwise, it's probably the best place on earth to get your prints done if you want the mental equivalent of paper cutting your anus with cardstock. So I wrote that review. I left it with my name attached to it. And then since there's nowhere else to print in Wasilla, I went back in there within like 2 days of leaving this review. And I'm standing there and I hear some printing, and this really huffy lady comes marching out, and she's holding a piece of paper, and it's got my 2-star review printed on it. And she's actually, I think first she said, "Are you Nicholas?" And I said, "Yes." And she's like, and holds it up, and she's like, "Yeah, you can get out of here." I was like, "Really? You're not going to give me my stuff?" She's like, "Yeah, your business is no longer welcome here. You need to leave." And I was like, "What did I do, bitch? What did I do? I told the truth."
You went too far.
I told the truth. I'm being punished for telling the truth. I was like, "You guys can't handle the fucking truth."
You clearly didn't want anything free. You just wanted to freaking
I see
blast
a
them.
lot of victims standing around this print shop. I told you literally the truth, and you kick me out, no wonder you guys are failing. This is what I don't like about living in a small town, is that you can have if you pick an obscure enough business, you can have the one shop in town, and then you can be a piece of shit and not do your job, and people have to drive to Anchorage if they want an alternative. So
Yeah,
most people will grit and
it's like a
bear it.
monopoly in those areas.
Yeah, they'll just come in and they'll be like, all right, well, this is going to take for fucking ever. And the people who run it don't feel any. It's like going to the DMV. It's like going to a government operated business where there's no incentive for them to get better.
Like the
But nobody
postal
wants to start
service.
a print. Yeah. No one wants to start a print shop in Wasilla because they probably don't even make that much money to begin with. They're just miserable.
And if there is
businesses.
one, you don't need another. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just miserable business. Now we have Vista Print, so I don't have to ever go back to that shit.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the problem that's their fault. Like, honest to God, I will shop local before Vista Print if the product and the price is right. Unfortunately, for them, Vistaprint offers a much more affordable solution. But for instance, like when I take those, so okay, just moved, right? I had to go like ship a FedEx box. There's no FedEx around here. It was like a mail hub is what they call it. And I walk in and they have a lot of print equipment. And so I was like, you guys must do all sorts of type of printing, correct? She goes, oh yeah, we can do it all. So in my head, I'm like, great, because I sometimes need simple prints done on an inkjet or a laser printer,
just
so that I can
basic
transfer
bitch print.
Just basic, like transfer pictures to wood. And I'm like, I'm not waiting for Vistaprint or something
to
or like
mail it to you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I need this today. And so even when I lived in the previous place I lived in, what I would do, which I think is the most convenient thing, is I would email them and ask them for, can I get 5 copies on the thinnest paper you have of this picture? And and it was nice because sometimes they'd email back. They're like, just so you know, the words on this are backwards. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. But yes, that's what I need it to be. I need it to be because I'm flipping and transferring
it. Yeah.
But then I'd email them thinking I'd get it in a day or two. I'd go 2 or 3 days and I'd be like, is this done? They're like, oh, let me check. Because I'd call and they'd be like, oh no, we just saw this. I'm like, I sent this to you 2 to 3 fucking days ago. And then you go in and you get the most, I'm just going to say it. The dude's retarded.
I was going to say retards.
Dumb.
Retards. Fucking retards.
Not, like you said, not doing shit. Like they're just sitting there taking Amazon returns is what they would do. And that's all they would do until you tell them, I need this printed. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll get this done in an hour. It's like, okay, well, I wanted it an hour and 3 days ago.
Sass to the max.
Well, it's like, I'm running a business too, though.
Yeah. You're motivated to start your own shit, and they're little print shop bitches.
Yeah, that don't care. They don't check their email, which is the most basic thing you can do at any company these days.
Dude, I am had it up here with print shops. There's one other one around here, and I did start going to them because I got fucking banned from the other print shop. So I found the other one that's like this little shack, and they're like really old people that work there, and they're like kind of pretentious and shitty. They're like, well, do you even know what this paper is? And like, that's not going to look right and stuff like that. But like once you actually got them to print it, it was like pretty good print quality and not super expensive. You just had to like deal with their weird, eccentric personalities. But
well, I do have a good print company for you. It's just in Anchorage on Fireweed.
What is it?
Service Business Printing.
Oh, yeah.
The main manager guy there. Oh, that's right. You probably
this was
don't.
for
He
my
was awesome,
previous business when I did family photos and things like that.
That's right.
We like printed out a bunch of we wanted to get senior portraits So we took pictures of our friend's little brother, who was a senior, without his shirt on, wearing boxing gloves, smoking a cigarette, and we put a fake tattoo across his chest. And we said, "Senior portraits, hire us." And we went to Wasilla High School and
Did
put
you
them on
think that was
everybody's
gonna work?
windshield. We were like, "They're gonna fucking love this because it's so subversive and weird."
And you got
Oh
nothing.
my god! I was like, "This town sucks." Fucking squares.
That's hilarious.
Dude, what was wrong with us? Yeah. Whatever. I've come down to
Good
earth
stuff.
quite a bit since then, I think.
Dude, it is crazy how much down to earth you become.
Oh, thanks. You used to be fucking way out there.
That's okay. You could easily be like, well, you were a fucking boring bitch.
You were a boring fucking alcoholic, motherfucker.
No. I was fun then. Before that, in high school, I was boring.
You know what though? I feel like there's a part of me that wants to go a little bit back to. I've gone too far this way, and I want to go back a little bit to Crazy Town. Not all the way to Crazy Town, but a little bit to Crazy Town.
I think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Because now you have this like moderation.
Yeah.
This like mental moderation. And maybe even a little bit more smarts and IQ about it.
And I can be even more sassy. Like, I read this review and I thought
that review was fantastic.
I thought it was going to be so much better though, because back then I was like, that was a good fucking review.
Well, it was 11 years ago.
Yeah, I think the best part of it was that I facetiously tried to I made it sound like compliments the whole time. The most intense part was when I said, if you want the mental equivalent of paper cutting your anus with cardstock. I'm pretty sure that's the part. I was like, I was like,
well, if I want to wrap it all together a little bit, I think about something I learned from my my brother-in-law, which was that he had said, and I think we've said this on the cast before based on other immature 30-year-olds, is that your brain a male brain doesn't really mature until you're in your like mid-30s.
That's insane.
Right. And if that's the truth, right? But it totally makes sense. The reason why it makes sense to me is because I bet most addictions start in your 20s. I bet that we don't leave reviews like that in our 30s. There was something else I was thinking about.
Too much to lose.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And the biggest one of all is that's probably now people our age going to find religion. We are wanting the structure and the support, and like our brains fully matured enough to really understand the world, some of us, and how to avoid the evil within it. And I think really if you can really understand that if you're in your mid to young 30s and you still feel like you're kind of an immature person who lets vices control their life. Well, actually, I think that's the biggest thing. You let other vices control your life, whether it's social media, it's politics, it's some sort of substance.
Beating your fucking dick.
Yeah. Great one. Yeah. Masturbating little weirdos. That's for your freaking teenage years.
Fucking constantly playing with your wiener. Yeah.
I think that you're not there. Like, you're not fully mature yet. And I think that it's within a couple years that I hope and I wish and I pray for you that you actually start moving towards a more structural, consistent in your life.
Amen.
Literally.
Preach on, Reverend. Lordy, Lordy, Lordy.
And then we say shit like that.
Praise Jesus. Hallelujah. Oh, Lord. That's good, man. That's really good. That's beautiful. It was like a beautiful flower.
Thanks.
That's why you're the poet. I agree
Sometimes.
with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't even need to bookend what you said. I don't need to circle back around and say more.
You're trying.
I'm trying to resist the temptation to do it. I want to just keep the podcast going, but I guess we'll just have to save it for another episode.
Yeah, sooner than later. We've had a lot of reasons we couldn't be able to do it lately, and super happy we were able to do it today.
Drop a fucking substantial compliment below.
Or just
please.
a negative comment's even fine too. Just something.
I want something. Yeah, you can give us a 1-star
You want
review.
the most immature, you hope that we get paper cuts in our anus sort of comment.
It better not be some vanilla shit like, hold on, let me see. Do you know what? Can you read me the last? Come on.
Maybe.
Hold on.
Pause
It
for
better
effect.
not be. It better not be great episode. Always interested to hear your thoughts. I want something real. Damn it. You know who you are. Engage with us. Leave us a real comment.
God damn. Well,
We
on
know
that,
you support us. Yeah.
Yeah, we love you. We love our 2 big viewers.
I'm just kidding. You could do no wrong in my eyes. But we're getting bored up here. We need some
Need some engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's encouraging to us to get real engagement, Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise we're going to start initiating some revenge on our lack of customers.
We're going to have to
That'll be
start
our
getting a
customer
little
service.
controversial up in here if we have to.
That's right.
Okay.
Hot and heavy. All right.
Yep.
I'll talk to you later.
Fucking killed the end of it. All right. See ya.